yeah, it's the Macho Man Randy Savage. You're listening to Intelligent Wrestling Talk. Ooh, yeah, dig it.
Hey guys, welcome to the very first episode of Intelligent Wrestling Talk. I am Dan Janoff.
And I am Anthony Feliciano, otherwise known as Tony B off Pro Wrestling World.
Alright, and this is quite a week for us to get started, as a whole lot of stuff happened. We're going to start off with Money in the Bank, and what we're going to do, we're just kind of going to run through all the results, give like a little opinion on it, and we'll move right on forward. All right, let's start off with the first match that wasn't televised. It was The Shield defeating the Usos once again retaining their titles.
Yeah, you know what? Regrettably, I'm going to have to say that I missed that one because what happened was that for Money in the Bank on Sunday, we were on our way to McHale Sports Bar somewhere in the city.
Oh, yeah?
We showed up early to another place, which was called Jack Dempsey's. It was on 34th Street, man. But what happened was that they canceled their wrestling pay-per-view event, so we had to cab it up to the other place. So we just missed like the first 15 minutes of Money in the Bank.
Well, it was a pretty solid match throughout, but Shield won in their usual tactics.
Yeah, well, how did the Usos face against them anyway?
They looked pretty good. I mean, They had their moments throughout the match where they could have easily won, but obviously WWE is still pushing them pretty heavy.
Yep, that's right. Well, so was Dean Ambrose ringside at all, or was he just hanging out inside?
I believe he was. I believe he did help them out a little bit.
Right. Yeah.
In the usual Shield fashion.
Yeah, totally. Man, I'm just so pissed that I got to miss that because the only time we showed up literally right when Sandow was holding his briefcase. In fact, my friend was overlooking it, and he noticed.
Oh, you missed it? Oh, man.
Yeah, I missed it. I missed the betrayal. So, everyone was just like, they're all talking, and then there he is on TV just holding a case. I was like, oh, shit. The first thing I thought of in my head was, shit, now I have to get a Sandow gear.
yeah, that's right, because you said you were going to go around dressing up as whoever won the briefcase.
That's right. Yeah, well, but hey, you know what? The rest of the pay-per-view was great, though. I mean, we had a really good match later, especially with RVD's return and everything. I mean, that was just freaking phenomenal. They all busted their asses on that thing, and not only that, they're all still performing on Monday, and they performed Tuesday for SmackDown as well. And if that's not enough, they were also taping WWE Superstars just before Raw started. So, yeah. I mean, I don't know if anyone for the latter matches were fighting for on WWE Superstars, but I know, Ryback, for example, he was on, the pay-per-view, WWE Superstars, and a dark match after Raw, tables match with Cena, and then here he is in SmackDown again.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy.
Yeah.
I just want to talk about a little bit about the first Money in the Bank ladder match. In my opinion, it was probably a little bit better of the two. If you guys haven't seen it, I highly recommend go watching it. There was a point in the match where, what's his name? Dean Ambrose was on a ladder, and two other guys were kind of just holding up the ladder, and he was kind of right under the briefcase trying to for it. And what's up?
No, keep going.
And you spoke a little bit about the betrayal. Everybody almost throughout the entire match was pretty much all on Cody for winning. I guess he was the least hated out of it. I guess that's why. And I guess partially because he's been there the longest and everyone thought he deserved it.
No, and you know what? A lot of people, even on the internet, even the audience, I mean, a lot of people were rooting for Cody. And, this was the guy that had his legit... And, he did get the Intercontinental belt, too. And you know what it is, too? It's like, I think out of all of them, it seemed like Cody Rhodes had worked the most, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Cody Rhodes had his belt. He's been doing everything slowly the right way, building himself up and everything. And this is a guy who's like a third or a generation right wrestler or whatever. I mean, his dad and everything is on there. So he's not getting the Kurt Axel push or anything like that. He's been working hard himself.
Absolutely.
So, I guess to see him not get the belt or whatever, to other fans, I guess it just seems like betrayal. However, unless they're really building up this feud, though, so if it can be like a Ziggler, John Cena, Money in the Bank match again, I mean, maybe we can get that going for SummerSlam, so who knows?
And maybe we'll have to wait and see what happens there.
Yeah, that's right.
And the next match after that was Curtis Axel and The Miz, and I gotta say, Curtis Axel looked pretty strong in defeating The Miz. Yeah,
and while I did kind of, I didn't mean to knock Axel earlier before, but yeah, he. So
you're not big on him, or?
I don't know what it is. A lot of people do like him. I'm just not set for it just yet. I don't think I'm ready for that just yet. I guess it's because it all had to do with Paul Heyman saying that he had the new Paul Heyman guy, so I'm thinking, oh great, maybe it's sort of like a bigger name guy or a little bit of under. But it was Curtis Axel, Michael McGillicuddy, and I guess it's fair game or whatever, but I don't know. I'm just not that enthused, but I do like the fact that Chris Jericho is putting over the younger guys, though, and I think that's really important.
So, yeah, and he put over Ryback in a big way.
Yes, he did. Yep. I'm sorry. No, wait, because I just had as though unprepared I am, because I just saw SmackDown today and he was fighting Curtis Axel. So.
Oh.
All right, never mind. It's Friday night. It's super hot. I'm getting delirious, sir.
It's all good, man. This is the first episode. Good. We're gonna screw up somewhere along the line.
Oh, so much for intelligent wrestling talk.
Yeah, all right.
Get amnesia.
We'll get better as time goes along. We promise.
Yeah, I hope. Anyway, so yeah, but yeah, at least I'm, but you know what, I'd like to see Curtis Axel hold on to the belt though more than The Miz. I think The Miz had his shot, but I don't feel he's as over anymore as he used to be a couple of years ago.
Yeah, I think he was just stuck in that whole mid-card thing for so long, and now he's doing a commentary for Main Event, and he's got his little talk show on Friday Night Smackdown. It's almost like they're not really sure what exactly they want to do with him.
Yeah, and the thing is that at Monday Night Raw, the only T-shirts that they were selling there were John Cena, Ziggler, CM Punk, I think Sheamus, and The Miz. I don't know if it's because The Miz still sells merchandise, but it's tough. I mean, I don't get it. So what they're going to do with him remains to be seen.
Yeah. All right. The next match was AJ Lee defeating Caitlyn and retaining her Divas Championship.
Yes.
Any big surprise from that one from you?
For me, no, not really, because AJ Lee is probably the most favorited diva. Well, it's not even that she's the most favorite; she's just the hottest, I guess, out of all. That's why these guys, everyone's rooting for her. I mean, let's face it. In the end of the day, it's really kind of, for me, it's a beauty contest. I don't know. I mean, she does have a great submission holder, though, so I'm not going to knock her wrestling ability. So she is good in the ring, and she's also really good at delivering promos too. At least she's getting at least the storyline is more interesting now with AJ Lee into the mix.
She's definitely going crazy as of late, and if you have forgotten how crazy she can be, well, we'll get into that a little bit later.
Yeah, indeed.
Actually, the next match we already talked about, Ryback and Jericho, was ADR defeating Dolph Ziggler because of a certain person interrupting that match.
That's right. Let's see. First of all, I don't know who else here felt this way, but I just wanted Dolph Ziggler to give her the zigzag right there.
Yeah,
I know it's wrong.
I'm pretty sure that's the only one there.
And I know it's all predetermined. All right, we get it. But, it's like, damn, can it just be real for 1 second? So Dolph Ziggler can give her the zigzag?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't like seeing Dolph Ziggler win, but I understand why they did it. I understand because obviously they're pushing Dolph Ziggler to be this big-time face now, and he needs to separate himself from, obviously, the big heel that AJ Lee is.
Yep, indeed. Yeah.
All right. The next match was, I guess you could say it was pretty predictable. It was John Cena retaining his WWE Championship against Mark Henry.
I almost forgot that was even a match last night.
It wasn't that.
I was just like, wait, John Cena did what? Yeah, it was no surprise, and not to mention, I mean, the match was just. Look, all right, this was a match where Mark Henry could have won, obviously, especially if this was real life wrestling, like actual death fights or whatever. I mean, Mark Henry would have won, but no, John Cena did win, and he had to win, I guess. I'm not saying that would have been my choice, but in all these pay-per-views, John Cena has to win. That's the rules.
Yeah, well, especially after defeating a guy like The Rock at WrestleMania, it would kind of almost seem like if we were to lose to Henry at this point, it would be like Mark Henry is bigger than The Rock, and obviously WWE's eyes he isn't.
Now, and the thing with Mark Henry is that, a lot of people are upset, but people are kind of forgetting that Mark Henry wasn't really always this main event guy. I mean, he was always kind of a mid-card guy, and he was always kind of like this, he had Nation of Domination. Yeah, you got all this stuff going on. He's sexual chocolate and all that. He's got these different gimmicks. But in the end of the day, though, he's not a main event guy. If he was WWE champion, can he... I don't know. I could see him be WWE champ, but is he really the WWE champ? I'm just going to have to disagree. I don't think I would have given him the championship up either.
Yeah, I wouldn't either. I always saw him as more of an enforcer type, as somebody like what Big E was for Dolph.
Yeah.
Just something, just so he can enhance somebody else, lift somebody else up to the top.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, and the main event saw the Raw Money in the Bank ladder match, where a bit of a surprise in my eyes to see Randy Orton walk out with the briefcase.
I agree. What was your? Why were you so surprised? Though? Who did you think was going to win?
Well, it seemed a lot like everybody was focused on either guys like Daniel Bryan winning or CM Punk or maybe even RVD, and. I don't know, like guys like Randy Orton and Sheamus were the last two guys I would think would even had a chance.
Yeah, I agree.
Just because of the role that Daniel Bryan's been on, and I guess not so much CM Punk because obviously he has Lesnar down the road, and RVD he just came back, and I don't know. I just didn't see Randy Orton winning.
This is going to sound weird, but I really didn't see, I couldn't really pick a clear winner, even though, see, here's the thing with Money in the Bank, all right? It's for the WWE Championship.
Yeah.
If Daniel Bryan would have won the briefcase, I think it would have hurt him in the long run, because the WWE Money in the Bank is supposed to give you the chance, the opportunity, whereas Daniel Bryan, as we've seen on Monday, has shown that he has earned his shot. It's kind of weird to explain, but it's sort of like, God, I just feel like Money in the Bank opens more for like a heel turn segue kind of thing, to cash in. I mean, you're cashing in at any time you want. So that just sort of says that, all right, I built my way up. I defeated 5 other guys for this thing, but did I really earn that the way Daniel Bryan would Monday Night Raw when the audience has been chanting for him? So I think this was a good thing for Daniel Bryan, because in the end, they got more people, if he didn't have enough already, to get behind it even further.
It's funny that you talk about maybe a future turn of sorts, because for both Money in the Banks, it was full of faces for Raw, full of heels for SmackDown, and obviously it had the exact same for their champions, like John Cena being the face and Alberto Del Rio being the heel.
Yep.
Do you really think that, I don't know, maybe Randy Orton cashes it on John Cena?
You know, this is going to really scare me, and this is giving me chills right now. I have a feeling he's going to cash it in on Daniel Bryan 48 seconds after he wins the belt.
Oh, no.
That is the worst thing WWE can do, right?
Well, if you remember, that's kind of how he cashed in his moments. It was, what was it, Big Show Mark Henry, and he cashed it in, like 30 seconds after he won?
And that's why, like, this is so scary, because it's like, damn, you know, I really don't want the whole past thing to come back and haunt anyone, you know, with this whole thing, so.
Yeah, and, you know, especially since the last WrestleMania, the one before this year, where he ended up dropping out to Sheamus so quickly and then losing it again so quickly. I don't know, I'm not really a big fan of that at all.
I mean, it's anyone's game. Did anyone really think Sandow was going to win the Money in the Bank briefcase anyway? So anything could really happen at this point.
Yeah, I thought that was the more unpredictable one. There was no clear-cut winner for me.
Yeah, and I mean, don't get me wrong. For Money in the Bank, I would have liked to seen probably Cesaro win the briefcase and then sort of like turn face maybe again. I don't know, but then that would be too soon also, because you know he's with the whole he's with Zeb Coulter now and Jack Swagger, so it's really hard to, like, you see, this is the thing that sucks about wrestling now, and not that it sucks. What sucks is that now I can't predict where the writing is going, because last year, you know, wrestling was a little more predictable, I think, than this year.
But isn't that a good thing, though? Isn't that...
That is a good thing, and that is a good thing, but, you know, it just sucks for me now. Well, no, it sucks, but, you know, just, I can't be this predictor anymore.
Yeah, because, you know, when we were younger, we didn't have all the fancy internet stuff that, you know, everyone has now, where everyone's giving their thoughts and putting all these spoilers and all these taped events.
Yeah, I can't stand the spoilers. It really hurts my heart, especially, like, when you try to like Facebook pages, and then there's always that one, when you click the Facebook homepage, it's like, oh, wrestling page. Guess what, guys? Jericho's going to come back this month or that month, or they're going to win this belt at this Smackdown, which was recorded yesterday, but we're going to tell you about it right now instead of watching on TV. How could you live like that, knowing the future?
Yeah, and imagine, you know, back in the day, if we already knew that the whole invasion angle with WCW, if we all knew, it's rumored that Shane McMahon is going to be purchasing WCW.
Yeah.
I mean, how that would have taken so much away from that moment.
I know. And don't get me wrong, I love speculating, I love predicting, but, you know, in terms of actually digging to get the spoilers, would you really like to live like Dr. Manhattan? Has anyone seen Watchmen? I thought that was the point of the movie.
You're right on that one. All right. All right, let's move on to Raw then.
So Monday Night Raw, I'm going to have to cut you off, Dan, because, you know, I'm a TV star now.
That's right. You were seen at Raw holding up your little briefcase.
That's right. I was holding up my Money in the Bank / Pro Wrestling World briefcase. I, was there for like about 30 seconds. I guess I'll just tell you the story now, so this is more interesting than what happened at Raw.
All right.
So what happened? All right. Well, what happened? This is a funny story. So what happened was, you know, I tried finding Sandow clothes, right? I wanted to find his blue bathrobe. Or I wanted to at least find his T-shirt. I went to Bed Bath & Beyond. I went to other places that didn't have any bathrobes of the color that I wanted. Macy's had a blue bathrobe, but it was $90. And I was like, no way. I'm more intelligent than this. So I decided, you know, and, you know, I was with my buddy, Andrew Monteleone, or Wrestling Batman, as I call him. And what happened was that, you know, we just went through all these stores, went searching. You know, he tried to help me, we just gave up. We decided to go to Barclays Center. Maybe there's a Damien Sandow shirt there, right? Because he's Mr. Money or Sir Money in the Bank.
Right.
So he's had to have a T-shirt there.
Right.
But no, there were no T-shirts of him there. There were no robes of any kind. No accessories for Damien Sandow. Not even for Cody Rhodes either. All it was just Miz, Sheamus, CM Punk, John Cena, the Shield shirts. There were some, and there were just no Damien Sandow shirts, and I was like, wow, what happened? So we went to the merch line. Now I'm going to get to the TV portion. So we went to the merch line. My buddy Andrew, he goes up to the T-shirt booth, and I'm like, you know what? This line is too long. Maybe we should go check the other shirts that are down there. Security was pointing us to the other places, and I'm like, maybe there's some Sandow shirts there. And he's like, well, I'm going to wait right here. So I'm like, all right, well, I'm going to go over there. So I decided to, walk around, and this time maybe circle around the arena, catch up my friend around the thing. So I'm walking with my briefcase. I had my tie on and everything. I actually met a fan from the pro wrestling world who recognized the suitcase, Zach Devlin, so that was cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
I got a picture with him. Yeah, and I kept walking, and then suddenly I heard, "Excuse me!"
That must have been something.
And Vicky Guerrero was there with her megaphone and everything. I tried to see, I guess everyone was running towards her, whereas I was in front of her, so I kind of was already in front of the fans. I just had to walk up sort of around a little bit.
Right.
And I did this I didn't even realize what I was doing until I saw it on TV. I was like, did I stick my tongue out that way? I was trying to be cool. It didn't work. I'm not fit for TV. So, I held out my briefcase and stuff, and then, and it's weird. I thought I was in front of the camera the whole time, but I guess the camera maybe it was in a way where it sort of cropped out the outer. I don't know. It was just weird. So,
right.
Vicky Guerrero's there. She's trying to get signatures for her petition.
Mm-hmm.
So as that guy was signing, and then I just thought, why didn't I do the Paul Heyman thing? Why don't I just sit up there and just stand up really tall and just hold my briefcase up in the air, and then that's what happened. I honestly didn't think it would be on TV or anything. I thought it would just be a random thing that they're just doing. And I also thought that if it was going to go anywhere, it would be on the app. But just to see it there on the Titantron,
that was pretty crazy, man.
My friend was just like, "Whoa, dude, you're on TV? What the hell?" And he and his I don't know, it just went crazy on Facebook because our friends were just tagging us, and we got some messages about it. His parents even noticed that I was on TV because I know him personally too, and.
That's awesome.
And it was just crazy. It still feels like a dream to me. I don't even think it happened. I'm just a bum in real life, so I'm not.
So did you get the sign it?
Wait, the sign? Oh no, I wanted to though, but I had my briefcase up, and just being on TV is just good enough for me. I don't know what would happen if you signed it though. I would hope WWE would do a promotion thing.
Did she end up staying out there for a while after?
No, that was the interesting thing. During that whole segment, the camera guy pointed his finger somewhere at the door, it's the cue to leave or something. So I think it was just that segment for 30 seconds or whatever. What was interesting about Barclays Center was that they had staircases closed off,
mm-hmm.
so the only way you could go up or down was through an escalator or an elevator.
That's interesting.
So
I never heard of that.
Yeah, so staircases were basically sealed off, which meant that maybe there was some superstar or some sort of staff or something going up and down them. So yeah.
Wow, that's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah, it all happened by luck. This was not pre-planned or anything like that. It was just, I just heard her voice, and I thought it was just a promo for the TV, but all they were playing was just basketball reruns from Barclays Center. So, and then, and it was just so strange to me because you wouldn't think there would be an actual super celebrity, WWE celebrity, I guess, walking around without really any security too. There was maybe only one security guard, but he wasn't near Vicky or anything like that. So, it's unlike, I guess, if it's John Cena, he'd probably have 10 security guards with him. But,
yeah.
I
mean, that's still weird though, because I would imagine, because there's usually a bunch of unruly fans at these things, and
yeah, that's right, especially Brooklyn of all places too. Because keep in mind, I guess even though Barclays Center is supposed to be, and it's really fancy stuff inside, the area is not good at all. This is East New York, Flatbush right here, so you're talking about a really high crime rate. In fact, this is part of the 1980s. If you ever seen those 1980s Death Wish 3 or whatever,
yeah,
that was New York.
Wow.
like trash is in the streets and everything. Everything around Barclays Center, right? Because Barclays Center is literally the heart of where everything nice is, I guess, supposedly. I guess they're going to try to rebuild this area or whatever.
Right.
Because, like, a few blocks away, it's just ghetto. Like, it's just, like, a complete, like, you don't want to be there.
Oh,
So that's why I thought it was funny to see, like, suburban people, like, show up, too. And it's like, man, they must be, like twitching right now.
The big boys looking behind their backs like, oh my god, I gotta be in my seat.
Oh god, yeah.
Alright, so anyway, getting back to the show.
Yeah, let's talk about Raw.
Yeah, it really came off, to me anyway, as the place kind of being a lot like places like Philadelphia was and like Chicago was, being really, I guess you could say really pro wrestling, like the whole anti-Cena thing, cheering all the...
yeah, it
all
was
the
very...
time guys.
It's when Cena came out, right? Well, actually, what came out first? It was Cena, right? And then Brad Maddox came out, and he was actually getting quite a few cheers. Actually, I'm not sure how it sounded on TV. I only saw just the 10 minutes after when Cena interrupted, but Maddox was actually getting praise, and
yeah, he sounded pretty good coming off of TV. Like, he didn't really miss a beat at all.
No, and he was really good, and I think this man is gold because this is the guy who was a wrestler, and he was really good. He actually beat up Seth Rollins in an NXT match pretty good.
That's right.
Last year, and Summer Rae was actually his manager. And also, this is a referee, commentator. I mean, this guy is gold right here. I mean, he's the WWE star. And I called this, too, as soon as, that whole referee thing, after that whole thing with Ryback, when I looked him up, I was like, oh, my God. Given all this information, he's good. So...
Yeah.
But yeah, when John Cena interrupted though, and John Cena came in, that's when he got a lot of boos. On TV, it sounded like he was getting cheers or whatever, but that's BS because they were playing some audio cues or something. Because that man was getting booed. In fact, that's why he says "Well, congratulations, Maddox. You're standing next to a person who's more hated than you are."
Yeah.
It was 80%, and here's the thing: 80% boos. And not to mention, all the remaining Cena fans, they just didn't even react at all. They were just intimidated.
Certainly doesn't help his cause at all.
No, it doesn't, and it's just... and not to mention, I like when... I think Maddox said something pretty snarky, really good, I like that you give other people the privilege who are less... I forget what he said, but he said something really just it just had me going, oh, SHIT, you know?
Yeah, that was pretty crazy, and... What we have later to come was he announced that John Cena would be able to pick his opponent for SummerSlam.
Yeah, that was good. I gotta say, I'm liking this whole Maddox era thing, and you know what? If he's gonna call the Titantron the Jumbotron one more time, I will jump ship and call it the damn Jumbotron.
Yeah, that was a little bad.
But Fandango got a nice pop from the audience, and his match with Randy Orton was really good.
Yeah.
I was pleasantly surprised, and then Randy Orton's hand was bleeding too. We noticed on the screen because they also play the Titantron that's up on front, but there's also a 4-screen Titantron thing that's also on top of the arena too.
Oh,
that
right,
you also
okay.
get to watch. Yeah, and we were sitting all the way in the back, but it looks far away on TV, but it's a good view, and you can still hear the slams and the mats and everything. So,
oh, that's good.
Yeah. That's good. What did you think of all this crazy badness? Fandango coming out saying, "Hey, you're gonna catch this against me," or all that crazy wacky.
I thought it was absolutely hilarious. I could not stop laughing because
yeah.
Fandango is just so funny to me. Every time the way he talks, the way he prances around, it's hilarious.
Oh god. Yeah. So yeah, that was the Randy Orton match with Fandango, and man, I forgot what match came out after that too.
After that, we saw Ziggler backstage, and AJ's trying to apologize, trying to...
Right. Yeah.
And then the crowd obviously really popping for Ziggler. Everyone seems to be on that bandwagon right now.
Yeah, there are a lot of. In fact, even though there were a lot of Ziggler fans there, especially in the Izod Center at Raw, which I was also there for too. There were a lot of blue shirts in the audience.
Oh, well, that's good.
There were a lot of blue shirts, and you know, I gotta say this about Alberto Del Rio. Even though like he's a total heel and everything, I do feel he was right in this one part where he says, you know, like in a few weeks ago, I think around his heel turn when he goes, you know, I fight against Jack Swagger and you chant USA. I had the broken leg and you chanted for Ziggler. And I'll admit, I did say USA. I did chant for Swagger. I did chant for Ziggler. I did wear the stealing the show, stealing your girlfriend.
Yeah, I was doing the same because, to be honest, I was never really a fan of ADR as a face. Anyway, I just didn't buy it.
No, I didn't buy it either. And you know what also was interesting was that I think when a 2 pay-per-view ago, or what's the last one? I think when Jack Swagger, I guess like Zeb Coulter cheated for him, and then they replayed. They had to do a replay to find out it was cheating. And then it's like everyone at the place we were at. We were at this place, Jack Dempsey's or whatever, at the bar restaurant place, and everyone in the audience was even saying, "But Alberto Del Rio cheats all the time."
He really does.
So it just seems so weird to the face. I don't know. But yeah, but that match during Raw though was it was really good. Ziggler was getting cheers. It was always "Let's go Ziggler." Not a lot of ADR fans actually. A lot of people did boo him, and I was very surprised because I don't want to bring race into this, but you know, predominantly the area, the audience was mostly Hispanic, and I would think that they would also not that I would assume. I don't know. I'll shut up now.
It's all good, man.
Yeah.
But well, what happened next was even more surprising because we end up seeing Mark Henry come out. He was talking quite a bit, and the fans were getting on him about him tapping out the Cena or whatever. Yeah. And then out of nowhere, the Shield music. Yeah, just like an RKO, the Shield music comes out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And I'm not exactly sure why they picked Mark Henry of all people. Was this really just to make some sort of a statement or something?
Yeah, I thought that was a little strange too, but I mean, I don't know. Because I will say this though, I regretfully walked away during that part because right when I found out Mark Henry was coming up next, I thought it would just be a promo, and I was really thirsty, and I wanted to get a soda. So when I heard the Shield's music online, I was like, "You got to be kidding me! The Shield's out now?" And then all I heard from the back of the arena was this giant, massive thump.
Yeah, that must have been the triple power bomb.
I came back and I was like, "What did I miss?"
Oh, that's no good, man. But you couldn't have predicted that.
No, I couldn't have predicted that. And you know, that's what I mean. That's why I'm so pissed off now. I can't predict shit anymore. Ooh, SHIT, I'm sorry. Trying to keep it easy.
Oh, it's fine, man. I don't think anybody that's, you know, of age doesn't listen to this. So.
Yeah. It'll be like the movie Timeline, where, you know, people have kind of heard of the movie, look good in the commercials, but not a lot of people have seen it, so...
Yeah. All right. Anyway, we saw more of how awesome this whole Brad Maddox era is starting by creating what would be quite an amazing match between Chris Jericho and Rob Van Dam.
Oh my God! This match was truly the markout moment of everyone, because here you got RVD, still great in the ring. It's like watching the live-action Ninja Turtle, because this man can flip, do all these kicks, do all these crazy things. I didn't really get why people chanted, "You still got it," though, when he's had it, even during TNA. But I guess I get it. I mean, there's not a lot of TNA viewers. I mean, who really has time to watch that much wrestling during the week, besides us's? But the man is a true athlete. Thank God I couldn't hear Michael Cole, otherwise it would have ruined the match for me. But even though we were sitting so far away, like I said, you get used to it, and you feel like you're a little more up close. And the man was just really good in the ring, especially all those flips. Even to see it in live action, it's really nothing. It's like watching Batman fight in real life. You just couldn't. I can't fathom how different it is from TV to see RVD, especially an athlete like that. I mean, that man is an athlete, wrestler. He's an all-around guy. Great. Just nothing but great.
Yeah, that's right. You met him when you were younger.
Yeah, yeah, that's right. There was a place here in Howard Beach, Queens called Video Game Central, so they did a lot of wrestling promotions. And Rob Van Dam, nice wrestler, just as nice as Mick Foley, shook my hand and everything. I got a picture of it. And it's really good. In fact, there was a little thing that I didn't realize, though, was that I was also with my other friends, too. My mom took us all out, and I was, waiting for my friend's turn to come out. And then she comes up and she says, he said that if that lady was my mom, who was that lady? And it turns out that it was actually my mom taking the photos of all of us with Rob Van Dam. So,
nice.
If anyone has a interdimensional, universal, galactic, cross-traveling sensor thingy, I would like to know if Rob Van Dam was my stepdad in any possible way. Thank you.
Well, that's, I guess as they would say on TV, that's a very interesting development.
Yes, yeah, it would be. And, and I'd like to hope that in my alternate dimension that I have a six-pack and abs, too.
Don't we all, right?
Yeah.
But getting back to the match, though, I mean, I can, it's like you said, you can only imagine how it was on TV. It was probably the best match on Raw that I've seen this year.
Yeah.
There were so many moments. They did all their trademark stuff.
Yep.
And Chris Jericho put over Rob Van Dam, which was nice to see.
Yeah.
But it's also not surprising considering Jericho's going to be gone for a little while as he tours with Fozzy.
Yeah, that's true. And, this is why, Chris Jericho is just going to be like this. He's going to be a legend. I mean, this is just, the nicest professional working wrestler, you can work with. And I don't mean professional as a professional wrestler. I mean professional as in a professional employee who's willing to help out the younger dudes. You don't see that anymore now. You don't see that a lot of, senior people helping out the younger guys. Usually it's the other way around. Usually it's them trying to put themselves over by using the other younger guys. But I think that Chris Jericho, people like Chris Jericho and Kane are just the saints of wrestling, just to help out the younger people. I mean, that's just freaking awesome, It's just so rare.
Absolutely. I mean, and we saw that at WrestleMania when Chris Jericho put over Fandango.
That's right. That is true. And it's just awesome to see. And what I really like about Jericho also is that he still also got it too, because I guess I just had this fear where after 10 years you can't do it anymore, you should stop. But clearly that doesn't need to happen. I mean, Chris Jericho is still over with fans. It's not like he's getting booed or anything like that. The same thing with Rob Van Dam. I mean, people wanted him back, and that's what WWE gave them.
And it's about damn time they did.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, and you know what? Rob Van Dam's music. All right, all the music sounds better in the live arena, including Christian's theme. The RVD's music had me headbanging. I had to take off my Ziggler glasses so this way I could do the windmill headbang.
Yeah. I probably would have done the same thing, man. That theme's so catchy.
Even if what WWE could do, if they want to make extra money, just rent out an arena and just play WWE music. That's all they do.
That would be awesome. I would totally pay for that.
Yeah, me too.
Alrighty. We spoke about this a little bit before. There was a return match having Alberto Del Rio against Dolph Ziggler. And I gotta say, I didn't really see the ending coming the way it did, but I kind of figured AJ was going to get involved at some point.
Yeah, and I kind of wish that they weren't. I kind of wish that they didn't have that rematch so soon the next day, because we knew Ziggler was going to lose. We knew that was going to happen. But then again, what else could happen at that point? Who else was Ziggler going to fight? But I guess it was interesting to see that swerve, though, from AJ. I mean, that's really all it was just storyline. And I think that's where Dolph Ziggler is just going to head for now too. It's just storyline development really than championship development. But who knows? Anything can happen on Raw. Clearly we're seeing that right now.
Yeah, because usually in the past, whenever we see a match on a pay-per-view end one way and then, the return match the very next night and have it end the same way, they usually just kind of separate from that.
Yeah, that's usually what happens. I mean, and you know what? Who would have thought that Ziggler was going to cash in his briefcase anyway the Monday night after WrestleMania too? So, it's interesting how, and it's good that WWE is actually beefing up the quality of Raw too, because even like prior around December or was it a little early January? There were at some points where Monday Night Raw was just not really, that whole middle of Raw was just not really worth watching at all. But now I'm actually so focused. It's like I don't have ADD anymore. It's like I can watch this throughout now. So.
Yeah, and even as far as unpredictability goes, we'll go into the next part here. We saw another appearance by the Wyatt family, and we saw Bray Wyatt and his boys end up taking out R-Truth.
Yep, that's true. And it honestly, the return of R-Truth last Monday kind of surprised me more because I was like, oh shit, where was this guy? And
yeah, I was kind of wondering, why is he here? Yeah. And then we hear the Wyatts come out like, oh, that's why.
Yeah. I got to say, though, with R-Truth's rap rock thing, though, a lot of people just looked so confused in the audience. Like, I don't think they were getting into it. But the Wyatt family came out, and that was a huge mark out for the thing. My friend tried chanting Husky Harris, and we all hate the Husky Harris chant. That's unanimous. And a couple of people from behind kind of gave him some dirty remarks, and I was like, dude, what are you doing, man? He's not Husky Harris anymore.
Yeah, because it's one thing, because for so long, so many fans on the internet are always getting on WWE, like, oh, you're not developing new characters, oh, you're not developing new talent or whatever. And the moment when they do, some dumb people start chanting a character that he used to have a long time ago, and kind of contradicting themselves.
So yeah, but yeah, the Wyatt family though was really nice to see on Raw. I honestly didn't think we'd get to see a Bray Wyatt fight though. I thought it was going to be the same thing like last week, but I'm so glad he's actually in combat now, and it was just really good to see. I think this is sort of like what the Brood kind of used to be. It sort of reminds me of, whereas the Brood would just come out and sort of bloodbath people. These guys would come out with the lantern and just start beating people up randomly. So it's good enough by me.
Yeah, and Bray Wyatt's his promo that he delivers like every single time whenever they beat up somebody. It just sounds so haunting. It sounds so perfect. Yep. And we're also seeing now, for whatever reason, because we all know their first attack was on Kane, which is why he wasn't in the Money in the Bank ladder match. But he mentioned Kane's name, and I'm not exactly sure why.
You know what? WWE posted an article before that Kane is out on an injury now due to a brain damage. So...
So you're thinking maybe
Monster heel Kane help push the younger guys, work with the Bray Wyatt family, become a brainwashed cult member? Who knows?
Sounds almost perfect to me.
Yeah, that would be great. I mean, hey, if Kane likes working with the younger guy, I mean, Daniel Bryan is now already over. He doesn't need to work with Daniel Bryan anymore. Now, what can Kane do now besides build up for his 1,000th match? I think he's just going to work with the Wyatt family.
Yeah, and moving on to, I guess, the lesser portion of the show, considering all that happened.
Yeah.
WWE once again pushing that app down our throats. So
but you see, I was there live, and I didn't have to see no app.
So you didn't vote or anything? You didn't log on?
We honestly, we didn't really see that there was like a voting thing. Maybe it was on a Titantron, but I guess like during like break or whatever, we were just like sort of talking like, whoa, what'd you think of this match or whatever? So we didn't get distracted by the Titantron or anything like that. And we certainly didn't have to hear commentary at all. So, we didn't see that or anything.
I can only imagine how much better that was.
Yeah. The only thing though that we saw was just, that was, obviously in the stuff was, just the Vicky Guerrero promo, which I thought was very important because, I was the main star of that promo. It's good. So, we'll talk to my publicity coordinator if you want me to do birthday parties for your kids,
Yeah, big start now. Yeah, but like I said, though, they ended up picking the Usos to face off against the Real Americans.
Yeah.
And the Usos really didn't miss a beat, even though they did lose the Shield and end up defeating Jack Swagger and Antonio Cesaro.
Yeah, I'd say it's fair game. It's good pounds. I mean, I'm personally a fan of the Real Americans. I like the whole, it's funny to me. And I'm not too big on Usos, but, I get it. They have really good wrestling ability, though. I won't deny that. Surprisingly, a lot of people were behind the Real Americans, actually. Yeah, when Zeb Coulter put his hand and goes, I want you to stand up and put your hand against your heart, Jerry. We the people! And they were actually We the People chants.
Wow. Yeah. Well, that's actually a little surprising. I didn't realize
even in a Monday Night Raw, I saw it. Everyone was chanting for even like Coulter and stuff. And this was an international audience. These weren't like American audiences. This was like 50% international, and most of the arena was going for Swagger and stuff too. And we also had some USA chants in the back too. I don't think that was really heard on TV or anything like that, but yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really hear that too much. But to be honest, though, I like where they're going with that. I'm just kind of curious where they're going.
Yeah.
I mean, are they gonna, try for the tag team titles, or are they just gonna stay where they are?
What they should do, what the Shield, because here's the thing, I think they're afraid to make the Shield lose. So if they want to make them lose, they should just make them lose on purpose. Have like a segment where they're about to fight. Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins just collapse on the ground and say, come on, just pin us. And then deliver a promo saying that we're just going to go after the bigger belts, the higher belts. We're tired of this. We want to be working on something bigger. So that's when like they can each tackle the world, the WWE, and I guess, I don't know if Intercontinental is any bigger than an U.S. title, but,
So you think they would pull a double finger poke of doom?
Yeah, I think they would. I think if they were afraid to make them lose, like legitimately or cleanly or whatever, I think they should just have a thing where Seth Rollins and Roman Reigns just lose on purpose. They just say, come on, just pin us,
I'm not really too sure how the fans would react to that, but that would be interesting to see where they go, because you would almost, to really justify that, you would almost have to give them title shots like within at least a month.
Yeah, and I guess maybe there is a better way of working that out. I mean, but not only that though, but it would also give them heat if they want to still be heels or whatever. I mean,
Yeah. All right, and next we saw Damien Sandow versus Christian. The match wasn't really so much important as to what happened after the match when we saw flashes of Cody Rhodes turning face.
Yeah, and that was actually a huge, massive crowd boost. Everyone was chanting for Cody. The entire arena was actually off their feet for this guy. And don't get me wrong, people like Sandow too. When he came out, people were actually going, yeah! But I guess people were just more on the fence for Cody. And we explained it earlier. It was just, he worked hard. He's been Intercontinental Champion, and I would also be open to seeing him too. And I love Sandow as well. In fact, I like all the guys. I didn't care who won Money in the Bank for the blue briefcase, and I even said it too. I would mark out for whoever the winner is, even Wade Barrett. I still like him, but Cody Rhodes, big pop from the audience too.
Yeah, and I guess you could say, because this is normally when most people say bathroom break, was the Divas match between Brie Bella versus Naomi.
Yeah.
And I'm not exactly sure why they're having this type of match, because, I mean, what's really the point? I mean, we know off and on, the Bellas have a problem with whatever the tag team females that are there, and now it's just the girls from Tons of Funk. But to be honest, though, I could definitely see someone like Naomi maybe being pushed in the future, because they did say how she's the most athletic out of all the divas. And to be honest with you, I was actually one of the very, very few who actually watched the Divas thing where they had him on NXT. The whole
They're
Divas
talking about
competition.
E Entertainment, their show.
Yeah, I was like the one person who watched, and I actually was able to see some matches.
Yeah.
She looks pretty good, and I'm surprised that they haven't let her wrestle on her own.
No, you know what? And that's interesting you said that, because I remember they, I think it was, oh God, what was it? It was a while ago. I think someone requested the Funkadactyls, but I can't remember. This was in a promo a few months ago for Raw. And yeah, I think Naomi is probably the, I guess you could say the hidden reserve talent for the Diva roster. Yeah. I guess up until maybe they bring Paige in from NXT or something. I mean, who knows? I also don't know if Summer Rae is actually a wrestler on the other hand. Like I said, I don't watch that much NXT. I just try to watch the videos of the wrestlers. So this way I can get a good view, see what the people are saying. But
yeah, that's pretty fun.
Yeah, but like Naomi's guy, I agree with you.
All right, and move on to the probably one of the top 3 moments of the night. We had CM Punk confronting Paul Heyman.
Oh my God, yes.
I don't know how that came across live, but holy crap, man, that blew up on TV. I was losing my mind at just how, because everybody always says about how good CM Punk is in the ring and all this other stuff, but whenever he talks, he shows so much emotion, like you really, really believe that he's pissed off at Paul Heyman.
Wrestling is not fake. Yeah.
Yeah, I know, but you could. It's how convincing he sounds every time he talks.
I know, and it just goes to show you, like, that period when CM Punk wasn't, like, at Raw for, like, those few weeks, how it just felt missing. I mean, this is what Raw needs. And CM Punk and Paul Heyman, you just felt that tension in the live audience. Right when they were talking, no action needed to be taken. You just knew it was right there. And the best was when Paul Heyman said, "Your mother left you, blah, blah, blah. All you have is these people, these fans in the..." And that's when we all cheered and everything. Not that we weren't cheering, but we all cheered. And then I screamed out, "CM Punk, we're your family."
That's great.
But it was just phenomenal, and it was just so intense. Everyone felt it. A lot of CM Punk marks out there. Even the little kids were wearing CM Punk shirts, too.
That's always good to see.
It was just great all around.
Yeah, and then the moment, I want to ask you, how loud was it when Brock Lesnar's music hit?
Okay, it came to us as a shock because half the people were saying Brock Lesnar's here, or Brock Lesnar's not here. Black Lesnar. So what happened was that when his music hit, right, it was just freaking awesome. That's when everyone got off their cheat. Even people said we want Lesnar just before he showed up. Yeah. And it was just and right when he went to the ring too, it's like you knew he was going to go ahead and fight and kick some ass, just like the way him and Triple H were fighting as well. And when that happened, all hell broke loose. When he threw CM Punk right on that table, you knew right there everything was going to be the best damn SummerSlam ever when they start fighting. And hopefully much better than Lesnar and Triple H fighting at WrestleMania. I didn't like that match, but I did like seeing CM Punk and Lesnar fight that time.
Yeah, it definitely came off as really intense on TV, from the promo to Brock Lesnar beating on CM Punk and having to get held back, and it's just crazy how great that whole thing was. Yeah, just from all the players. Like I said, every time CM Punk talks, you almost have to believe him, and Paul Heyman is just as good, and that's why he's always been Lesnar's right-hand man, because Lesnar's never really been able to deliver that caliber of a promo. Yeah.
Yep. And you know what? I think, and I just got to say this now too, that even, you know what this kind of reminds me of though? This is sort of like this is sort of like the current generation of Stone Cold versus Vince McMahon. This is sort of what it's reminding me of, what it's bringing me to. I mean, yeah, we get it. The characters are not that alike. But we see that. We see that coming to fruition now, and it's just a great betrayal, too, especially the way in Money in the Bank when we all saw the pay-per-view. The way he slammed that ladder on CM Punk, it's like, oh my God. Like, they make it real. That's what's just so unpredictable about wrestling. We didn't really, I didn't see that coming, at least. Not to see Paul Heyman physically assault CM Punk that way, and it was just totally gripping, like, real emotion right there.
Yeah, CM Punk definitely felt it too, because afterwards you saw like pictures of his head just basically busted wide open, and they had to put a certain amount of staples in it just to close it up.
Crazy. And yet these people are fighting still on Monday Night Raw.
Yeah, you know, this is what I always like to see is good, believable promos from people who know how to do it right.
That's right.
And they clearly did.
Yeah.
And I know we already because the next part was Rob Van Dam versus Jericho. We already went a little bit into that.
Yeah.
You know, obviously it was a great match. You know, RVD seems to be here to stay for a little while.
Yeah.
Do you have any sort of idea of where they could possibly go with him?
I don't see him getting a title shot, but I do see him maybe a feud against Ryback. I mean, I don't really know what they can do. I mean, let's face it. I mean, the U.S. title shot he can go for, but then he would have to lose to Dean Ambrose. Yeah. I don't think a lot of people are going to like that, but that's if Rob Van Dam probably wants to put someone over or not. It really depends. But like I said, I don't see a title shot, but I do see maybe a feud going on. But I didn't even think he was really all that great on mic, though, because he's not really that big a promo guy. But he's great in the ring, though. And if they just keep him fighting people. Because on SmackDown, though, I'm a little surprised they had him fighting just against Darren Young. And Darren Young jobbed out to him. And I thought, well, you know, that's a little easy compared to, you know, Money in the Bank, Chris Jericho main event, you know, but I guess maybe it's just so for the SmackDown audience to see it. Probably everyone's already just too freaking beat up already. But I would like to see him maybe fight against Wade Barrett, put Wade Barrett over a little bit. I don't know. I still believe in the Barrett barrage, so, you know, I'd like to.
Oh, you do, huh?
I do. I'm actually one of the, because I think he can really cut a promo. Wade Barrett's a great talker. I wish they put the mic on him a little more. But I guess we just got to see where it goes. He kind of sounds like Zaid from Mass Effect 2, and that's why I like him so much.
Yeah, I definitely see that.
Yeah.
But it's another one of those guys, too, that it doesn't really seem like they have like a certain idea what to do for him. Like they put the Intercontinental title on him, but then they have him lose and lose and lose, and then
even when he was champion, he was losing, right?
Like they don't even know what exactly they're doing, but it just boggles my mind sometimes. Like WWE creative will have like this plan and just randomly scrap it like halfway through it. Like they don't even let it play out at all.
Yeah. Oh man.
And I guess I would get into the biggest moment of the night. We had Cena in the ring and ended up calling out, I guess you could say the entire roster, though it didn't really look like the entire roster to me.
No, I don't know if Yoshitatsu is still there or not.
No, and
Justin Gabriel wasn't there either.
And he wasn't there, but guess who was? Brooklyn Brawler. Just randomly standing right there. They just catch him on screen. It's like, oh my god, he's still there?
You know what? None of us in the audience even knew about it. We totally kind of forgot that Brooklyn Brawler was going to be there. We thought he would get like a bigger something time, and it wasn't until after the show that I heard Brooklyn Brawler was there.
Yeah.
And we did see Zack Ryder.
Yeah, a random Zack Ryder sighting.
How about Zack Ryder?
Woo, what?
Sheamus got booed massively when and you know when John Cena. In fact, John Cena selecting wrestlers is my favorite part, especially Great Khali. He got booed too. Randy Orton got some pops, but people were going for Daniel Bryan, and the answer had to be Daniel Bryan. If he didn't say Daniel Bryan, there would have been a riot.
Yeah, but what was weird, though, and I guess like kind of funny at the same time, was the way Cena was reacting to the crowd, like almost like he was steering away from Daniel Bryan, because that's when they were really getting for Daniel Bryan.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, God, they're going to pick Sheamus or just some random guy, and all of a sudden, Daniel Bryan, and then the crowd goes nuts, and I'm sure you were going nuts.
Yeah, we were all going, yes, 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 Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan.
And I also thought it was hilarious because the way he came walking down the ramp, he was standing behind like 3 or 4
Oh, I
different
know.
wrestlers.
That was so funny.
And he was just walking right through, and he almost like looked surprised, like, really? And then he comes in, does his whole yes thing, and that's how Raw goes off the air.
Yeah, it was just freaking great to see, and not to mention, I mean, Daniel Bryan is so massively over. The worst thing WWE could do at this point is kill off that momentum. And I hope they don't do that. They have to realize that Daniel Bryan is the star of the show now. Granted, CM Punk does outsell more merchandise than Cena, supposedly. And now a lot of people, now Cena's losing some favorability, too. And plus, he's getting a little older now, too. I can't imagine that old. I mean, but still, you know, now we got Daniel Bryan as the next face.
And for once, we can finally have a match where the WWE doesn't find some way to call John Cena the underdog. Because I don't know if you noticed, but they always try to put him in that sscenario.
Oh
where
my
he's
God, you're right.
Even though he's like, what? He's like a 10-time champion. You know, so many people nickname him Super Cena. You know.
How about his promo against The Rock when he had that sad music, like we got to root for Cena?
Yeah, that was a little. They
may as well just give Cena the Decade of Destruction title, just like the Undertaker.
Yeah. But I mean, honestly though, because we're taking, obviously, this match is not going to happen until the next pay-per-view, which is SummerSlam.
Yeah.
And it's obviously going to be the main event, and I'm not really sure of how. I mean, I know everyone wants Daniel Bryan to be the WWE champion. I know I want him to be the champion, because of everything he's done, accomplished, and all that. Yeah. But I mean, realistically, judging from what happened at Money in the Bank with John Cena beating Mark Henry, and every month before that, having big match after big match and winning, how does Daniel Bryan even have a chance? Yeah,
I mean, it's time to give Daniel Bryan the belt. If not now, then when? And if not now, then when? Then how? Because at that point, Daniel Bryan will lose momentum. This is sort of kind of what happened with Wade Barrett, sort of kind of what happened with The Miz, with their heavy belt runs and all that stuff. And if Daniel Bryan does not win this one, then what hope can the WWE have with their audience now, especially with other people putting their faith into the organization once again? If Daniel Bryan loses, they're going to lose some fan bases. I know it. I guarantee it.
Well, the only problem is the only real finishing move that Daniel Bryan has is not really a finishing move. It's a mission move. And I can't remember the last time, or if ever, John Cena's ever tapped out to any move whatsoever.
Oh my God, that's right. Cena's got that immunity. He's got the perks, the Call of Duty perks.
Yeah, like the only way he could somehow win is if John Cena randomly passes out or whatever.
Yeah, right. Or there's an interference in a match. I don't know. Maybe unless Randy Orton interferes before or after a match ends or whatever. Who knows? It's really unpredictable at this point. But yeah, you're right about Daniel Bryan lose.
Yeah, well, maybe they'll introduce him with a finishing move. Maybe I don't know.
Yeah, right.
It's really all just speculation.
Well, Seth Rollins doesn't really do his Gift from God move anymore, does he? He can just use that for now.
Yeah, he just does his little. Yeah. Is that what it's called?
Oh my God, what the hell is the name of it? It was You know what? We are intelligent wrestling fans. We should know this. That's why I'm going to kind of Google this. God's last gift. You know what? It's this goddamn heat. It's driving me insane.
All right, I guess we can move on from that.
Yeah, it's just like, what did I say? What, Chris Jericho versus Ryback last Sunday? Or, I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, moving on.
But, before we get into Destination X, and of course, we all know a lot happened on Destination X, just wanted to speak a little bit about Main Event, because lately they've had some pretty decent matches, and this week it wasn't really any sort of big matches. It's kind of just what happened, because you take a look at the last match on the card. It was a Justin Gabriel versus Heath Slater, and of course, have 3MB, they're all there, whatever.
Yeah. And
no one really thought anything of it. It's just these random guys or whatever, and that's wrestling each other, whatever. And then all of a sudden, you see the Wyatt family come out, and I think this is like the biggest crowd reaction I've ever seen on Main Event, to be honest.
Well, did people think that they were going to show up on a Main Event? I mean, I think that's the real twist right there,
Yeah, it's one of those things that the WWE could advertise as anything can happen, and that's obviously they're one of their least watched shows, and that's things that need to happen. And, of course, again, they took everybody out, not just Justin Gabriel. They took out all 3MB. And it was kind of weird, too, because I'd never really seen anybody really do this, maybe, like, recently. But as they took everybody out in the ring, they were stacking the bodies on top of each other, which is kind of weird to me. And then once again, Bray Wyatt delivered another awesome promo. And once again, who does he mention? Kane.
The Undertaker.
The Undertaker.
Yeah, he mentions Kane. I did see the clip. I think, did you send me the link, I think? Or did I YouTube that?
I believe I did.
Yeah, so, and it was cool. It's great to see Bray Wyatt get, like, this massive kind of promo push or whatever. I think this is what WWE needs right now also, is another fresh faction. I mean, I'm not saying people are getting tired of the Shield, but there are people that are kind of like, yeah, alright, the Shield. But now with the Wyatt family, people are like, oh my god, these guys are awesome. So, I think it's fair game, and if they get Kane with them, that would be even better too. And you know what? I think they could survive without Kane, but I think Kane could help them a lot too. I'm not sure how, but I think there's a way for it to happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the Wyatt family has done nothing but impress so far, but we've talked about that so much already, so let's talk some TNA, some Destination X.
Before we jump into TNA, I just want to talk about Raw real quick. After the Raw thing was over, it was a pack up go kind of thing, but then the Ryback's theme played. Ryback comes out, and the announcer rings the bell and says, "Ladies and gentlemen, this is a WWE Championship title match. A tables match between John Cena and Ryback." So this was just freaking awesome. I mean, I knew how it was going to end, but it was just great that there was a dark match right after for like the live audience that, paid their tickets just to be there. And the tables match was really good. It was like only like 5 minutes, but it was exactly the way it needed to be. It was fast-paced, really good. And people hate Ryback for whatever reason, but he's one of my favorite wrestlers. And not to mention, he's also a really hard-working guy. I mean, he was also wrestling just before Raw started. He was, I think, the last match, on WWE Superstars, because they taped that before Raw showings. They even did the same thing, too, at Izod Center. So you have Ryback working maybe 2 nights, wrestling twice, actually. And this one's a tables match, too. So instead of going home, traveling, do whatever he needs to do, he's still got to stay there and also fight Cena as well. So, and I got to give them both credit. I mean, the tables match was really, really good, and it was definitely one of the best matches. So, sorry, TV guys, you didn't get to see it.
Yeah, that's one thing I always liked about the WWE is for any of their live shows like that, they always give something extra to the crowd afterwards. All right, so if I have no more interruptions, well, we'll get into a
No,
little
Dan,
TNA.
I was a TV star, but yes, you may now go to TNA.
Alrighty then. Obviously, Destination X focuses a lot around its X division,
Yes.
and we saw a few matches that qualifying a few guys for a three-way match for the now vacant TNA X Division title, since Chris Sabin put it up to face Bully Ray. And we had, for the victors, we had Sanjay Dutt, Manic, formerly known as Suicide, and we actually found where Trent actually is. He actually is in TNA, and he won his match as well.
That's right, and he's under his real name. It's funny, on Pro Wrestling World, when we said Trent Barretta was back, under a different name, and then people were like, oh, I hate this name. It's his real name.
Yeah, really
I can't even pronounce it, though. It's like Greg Marchilla or something like that, but...
Yeah.
But people are saying they hate his name. I don't know. I don't get. But this is why we're intelligent wrestling fans, because we just can't pronounce some of the words, but we know things.
Yeah, we know some things.
We'd like to be a little more aware. We're not Jeopardy level smart or anything. We're just like you and I, really. But
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was really good. It was a bit markout moment for some people. Even Jigsaw was there, who was actually under the name Rubik's. Was there as well, and everyone performed great, I think, and Homicide was back as well. To be honest with you, I don't think there was a bad match that night. Even the whatchamacallit, it was great seeing Bobby Roode and also Austin Aries in action and stuff, and and didn't we just, I think we kind of saw a bit of an Austin Aries face turn as well. He gave Chris Sabin some praise. I mean, people like to correct me and say tweener, but I'd like to think that he's shifting more on the face side now. But yeah, that was just maybe one of the best TNA episodes ever. And if this is where they're heading, if this is why they're letting go of Bruce Pritchard and D'Lo Brown and all those other people, then good. I'm glad they let them go. People were like, "Oh, TNA's going under." No. This is what they needed to do. They needed to get rid of that guy, especially the way people's contracts have been screwed. Doc, he wasn't fired. His contract just expired. With Bruce Pritchard effed it all up. So, but we'll see how it all goes out next week then, and hopefully they can keep up this trend right now, because yesterday, whatever day it was, Thursday, that was all about the younger guys too, and it was great to see the X Division actually take over for once in a while.
Yeah, it's one thing that TNA always delivers, and is whenever they have any kind of X Division style match, they're always 5-star each and every one of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And it was just and Trent Barretta just really stole the show for me too. I kind of hoping that he actually becomes the next title holder, but you know what? They're all great though, and I don't know if this current Manic right now is actually. I guess he is still played by T.J. Perkins, the allegedly real Suicide after all these alleged years, like Hogan said, or is he also still played by Christopher Daniels and Kazarian? But but either way, it's not going to be a loss or win for me. Whoever really wins, it's still going to be great. And what did you think of the new title belt design, by the way?
That was interesting because I really didn't see it much on TV because they only kind of had it over.
Yeah, I don't even think I saw it on TV either.
Yeah, I saw somebody posted on there. It looks good, It looks like a real legit title.
Yeah, I'm probably the 2% of people that actually really love the new belt. Yeah, alright, it's a cross between the old school Intercontinental belt mixed with the NXT current championship belt. But it actually looks really cool. It sort of looks like it tells me when I see this belt that it wants to take the X Division more seriously than it has been for a while. And, I like the design, and, I don't know. I'd like to see someone hold it at least next week, and I think more people might be into liking it for sure.
Yeah, and I think it's funny because, as you said, a lot of people are comparing it to the Intercontinental title, and what the Intercontinental title used to mean in the WWE, then WWF, that it was basically the next step towards being, the top guy, the World Heavyweight Champion, WWE Champion, whatever.
Yeah.
And obviously, with what they're doing with the X Division title, with them being able to cash that in for a title shot at Destination X every year, that's almost the exact same thing, pretty much.
Yep. Yeah. And we'll just see where they go from it. But then I wonder now if having one Destination X per year might just be... because if the rule of the X Division belt is for you to cash it in, maybe they should just have like 3 or 4 Destination X's per year, where it sort of gives maybe the owner of the belt a title shot if he wants to, or he can refuse it, to sort of have like a seasonal thing, like each fall, summer, winter, spring, summer, whatever. I would like to see what else they can do with that, because it just sounds like kind of like a game show to me, I mean, I kind of like this whole idea. Obviously not make it into the Money in the Bank thing where they cash it in any time.
Yeah.
But, at least now the belt has a little bit more authentic. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm missing that word, but you know what I mean.
A little more value.
Yeah.
A little more
there we go.
prestige.
Yeah.
And speaking of the X Division title, the major news of the night, I wasn't really sure, where they were going to go with this, but they actually did have, despite some interference from Aces and Eights and, and the Main Event Mafia getting involved with each other, even Bully Ray getting the hammer, right then and there, I kind of thought, okay, Bully Ray's going to hit him over the head, it's going to be all done.
Yep.
But then Chris Sabin just randomly gets it from him, bonks him on the head. We have a new team.
That's right. And I was so worried. That the referee was going to turn around at that point and free him with the hammer and go, ding, 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 disqualification.
Yeah. I was kind of worried about that, too.
Oh, man. But I'm glad to see that it hasn't. And you know what? I'm actually glad that he's doing heavyweight championship now. Maybe now this could be the end of Aces and Eights. I mean, let's face it, all these big guy factions that TNA kept trying to do, I guess, maybe it's time to get rid of them, I mean, we already seen Doc not there. We don't know what the hell happened to Taz. He was somehow not there, and I don't really know why. What else? Who else is gone? D'Lo Brown, Doc, and I don't know. I mean, I guess this is going to be the fall of Aces and Eights. I hope so, because I kind of feel like it turned off a lot of fans. Being that these were like ex-WWE guys. And it's not like a lot of the older fans didn't like them. They just didn't like how they were being used in TNA. And,
right.
Hopefully maybe something good can come out of all of this. Maybe it's time to not do gut check anymore. I don't know. Maybe just focus on the talent that they have now, and then maybe slowly try to bring in some new guys in. It's just really weird, but but if it's anything like last Thursday, maybe TNA can have a good future again now. So we'll see.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think that this is kind of a time where I think they could kind of focus on Aces and Eights and the Main Event Mafia truly going head to head or whatever, and then eventually having like this big time match where it's like, okay, the loser disbands, whatever. Maybe something building up to that.
Yep. Well,
because to be honest, I don't really see Aces and Eights going away yet. I mean, I know a lot of fans are really tired of it.
Yeah.
But they just reformed the Main Event Mafia just a couple of weeks ago. I mean, if the Aces and Eights are gone, then what the hell?
Right.
What are they going to do?
It's the Main Event Mafia. What are they doing here? Yeah, you're right. I guess so. Maybe. Hey, maybe what the hell's that guy's name? Maybe Robert E. can find some new Jersey Shore members, huh? No, that's always good.
Yeah, because that's...
Well, I want to know if we're going to see Rampage Jackson actually get a match now.
Yeah, it would be nice to see because we haven't actually really seen him really fight anybody. I mean, we sort of got to see a glimpse of that on Thursday, but
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see if they actually let him wrestle somebody.
Yeah, that's true. Now, there was a big controversial thing happening about in TNA that a lot of people are talking about, and that's like letting go of a portion of their roster, actually. And it's kind of interesting to me because I could have sworn that people have always said, "Oh man, they should just get rid of some of these guys they don't even use." And then when they do get rid of some of these guys, suddenly it's not good enough anymore. And people just want Hogan gone. The only problem is that Hogan actually gets a big pop from the crowd. And believe it or not, Hogan is actually kind of doing some good with the play. I don't agree about bringing his daughter into the show, but he's actually not that bad to have all around. Maybe just as a manager promo guy.
Yeah.
But here's the problem, and I'm just going to say it from the beginning. TNA, a lot of people were, reacting negatively to their release of the talent roster. So what do? They let go of Tara, they let go of Christian York, who has always he's been fighting independent anyway. He hasn't really had that much use in TNA anyway. And I love Christian York, but let's face it, what are you going to do with him? D'Lo Brown sort of surprised me, but what more could you really do with him, though? Bruce Pritchard leaving was great, actually. I'm open to that because, like I said, the whole contract thing, not to mention the rumors about him hitting on the Knockouts Peak division and all that stuff, just... Or that whole controversy between alleged extortion between Gutcheck and OVW, I believe. I forgot. I got to reread that article, but there was something about paying more money than you should if you want to be really good in your Gutcheck thing.
That sounds right.
Yeah. Hey, why not? I mean, I guess that's not a surprise. What else was there? I mean, let's face it. This is the company that almost lost Bobby Roode, but thankfully he resigned. And even with Doc, though, a lot of people didn't like that Doc had to go, but his contract expired. And a lot of people were upset about that, and I don't blame them. He's the guy that has good in-ring ability. He can get a crowd reaction, no doubt. He was Imposter King, damn it. He was Festus, for crying out loud. The man deserves another shot. He deserves another chance. But then, of course, you got Matt Morgan, who, like Doc, has also been underused. I mean, hey, I thought this was the rise of the Beards,
Well, maybe they'll sign over with WWE, and
maybe.
there'll be Rise of the Beards there with Daniel Bryan
Good.
and the Wyatts and all that.
Yeah, more Wyatts. Good.
Hey,
I'm not being sarcastic. I think that'll be good.
Oh man, but major props for Chris Sabin winning.
Yeah, absolutely.
It was nice to finally see, considering the amount of time he spent in TNA, and then they finally gave him his due. Like you said, Austin Aries gave him props. He put him over a little bit, and one of the great things that Hogan has done, that he's put over Chris Sabin pretty huge.
Yeah, he did. In fact, I actually owe it a little bit to Hogan to even do that too. Even the other guy, T.J. Perkins, I guess who's now maybe the current Manic. He's been doing that too, and yeah, I mean, and that was great for Hogan to do that. And not to mention, I mean, with Chris Sabin, is that you're talking about a guy who was not only in TNA for a while, but he was also out of TNA for a while due to his injury. And now here he is again, and it's just great to see that he's still got this fan base, and he's just really good in the ring. And the way he fought Bully Ray, too, it was like the Dark Knight when Batman went up against Bane in the second fight with all those punches and jabs and everything. Oh man, it was terrific, really good.
Yeah, it was quite a match, and just I mean, even though he won the way he did, the way it happened doesn't really matter so much. It's really just more of the result, and it'll be interesting to see where TNA goes with this, like how long Sabin will actually hold on to the belt.
Well, TNA logic. I mean, last week, what was it? Wasn't Austin Aries spat in his hand and slapped Chris Sabin? Sabin gave him 1,000 frickin' Ric Flair chops against the ring corner. And then last Thursday, Austin Aries is giving it props. Like
yeah, you know. This is random turn out of nowhere.
Oh man, but yeah, and it's cool. And, you know, I know I'm probably gonna forget, but if for those who play WWE 13 with the Access package it downloads, go to the most downloaded on the Access packs, and you'll see all the TNA roster on there. The creator wrestler.
Yeah.
Bobby Roode, I think, should be number 1 still.
Yeah, you know.
Oh man. But
right.
also the live setting I thought was really good because there was definitely, you could tell there was more people in that crowd than any other TNA event. And I think it also had more to do with that guy they hired who used to be the WWE live action, like coordinator guy. So they got that guy with TNA now, and I think that's doing good for them. I just hope they can get rid of some of the walkway model things because I don't really like that in front of the ring, but whatever.
Also, one thing that just kind of came to my mind was it was a really great show from top to bottom.
Yeah.
Would it have enhanced it more if it was a pay-per-view? Actually happening?
No, and here's why. I think it wouldn't get the viewers that it did from yesterday. Because this is actually supposed to be their big rating in like a while. And they did get a lot of ratings for this. I don't know the numbers. But if this was just saved for a pay-per-view, I don't think a lot of people would watch it.
Yeah, their pay-per-view numbers haven't exactly been their strong suit.
I mean,
so
even like talking pay-per-view, I mean, even TNA knows this. I mean, if people had to shell out money for a pay-per-view, it would most likely be a WWE pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's it. And, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just the way it is. You know, the WWE puts on a great show, too. And that's what people are most familiar with as well. So, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And, yeah, and we don't really have anything else to talk about as far as TNA goes.
Yeah.
But, you know, like I said, you know, hats off to Chris Sabin, hats off to TNA for, you know, finally putting the belt on him. You know, he's worked hard enough. He's deserved it.
Yes. Yeah, well, what's the thing, actually last week, I don't know if anyone's seen this, but we've also had the TNA Knockouts ladder match. A ladder match
that was
between 2 female wrestlers, which was brutal and crazy. I mean, Taryn Terrell and Gail Kim. I mean, I don't even think anyone thought that Taryn Terrell could be like this hardcore athletic wrestler. Even she's admitted to not having been like a big wrestling fan. But she does like the way, you know, you can display and show off your athleticism, be beautiful, and still kick ass. And Gail Kim as well. They were just, that's what I call knockouts right there.
Yeah, both their matches were just fantastic. Yeah. I mean, the first match they had, and then they had that stuff happen outside the ring. It was just crazy just to see it happen, just to see, you know, how much, you know, they were willing to put on the line. And it's just something I think if we saw more in the WWE, maybe the fans would care more about the Divas division.
Yeah.
As, you know, not really seeing it as a bathroom break, you know. But, you know, I can go on and on about that, but let's move on to SmackDown.
Okay, yeah.
And let's see here. I didn't actually get to watch this live. I know you did.
I did. and that's because my uncle brought home some good old quality fashion American Pizza Hut, and you know, just watching SmackDown. I did miss the and you know, I don't know what's wrong with me. I must have this curse because I missed the Shield match that I do.
Oh God,
I missed the Shield match all this week, all their matches.
It's the Shield curse.
I guess so.
All right. Anyway, we have a new SmackDown GM. Are you surprised that she got the job so quickly?
No, I'm actually kind of happy, and I was really hoping that she would have. I didn't think that she would be a GM actually at all. I thought she would be like like what she did last Monday, trying to get signatures and stuff. But to her to get it that quickly for Thursday or Friday,
Yeah.
I think that's great. I'm open to it. I actually like Vicky Guerrero, and I'm a fan of hers, and I think she's a great heel. She knows how to get heat, and Latino heat.
Yeah, there you go, man.
I mean, I guess with Teddy Long and Booker T, I don't know. I mean, I guess I just wasn't really that big on those guys anyway, just to like warrant for me to be like, oh no. I mean, it's not a big loss to me that they're not GMs anymore. I mean, let's face it, it's time to pass the torch too, you know. And I think Vicky will do really good with SmackDown. So.
Yeah, it'll be good to see a first face on there as opposed to Teddy Long, which we've been seeing him there on and off for God knows how long.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Next, we saw. You sent me the little recap here.
Yeah, it was Jack Swagger versus oh god, who the hell did he fight? Line. I need a line. I'm Randy Orton now. I need a line. What's my line?
It would be your guy. It would be your hashtag heel.
Yeah. Oh my god, who the hell did he fight today? Wait, Jack Swagger versus oh, I'm sorry, Dolph Ziggler. Wow, how the hell did I forget that? All right. It's just so hot up here in New York, and air conditioning is just not as like powerful as it would be like down anywhere else. We live in old buildings, so it's just like you got to use the old school window air conditioning, and it's still hot as ass up in here. So all right,
yeah.
Dolph Ziggler versus Jack
making
Swagger.
Excuses.
Great match actually. You actually got to see. It's really so strange seeing Dolph Ziggler fight cleanly now, as opposed to being this dirty heel that couldn't fight at all. But he wrestles, and he's so fast. He can outmaneuver Jack Swagger, who you would think could take him down in a second. But just to see how they choreograph this and what they do, it was a really good match, and his agility and everything. And the way he gave us a Swagger the zigzag at the end, that was pretty damn good. So right after that match, he gave an interesting promo, and he said to the audience, I'm sorry that I didn't call it off any sooner.
Of course, referring to his breakup with AJ Lee.
That's right.
And then you did mention something else.
That's right. This is going to be even more shocking. So AJ Lee got so upset that Big E comes up to her, tries to calm her down, but she keeps hitting him, but then he calms her down. He looks at her, about to go in for the kiss, but then he sort of holds back and kisses your forehead, and they both look at each other, and then Big E just walks away confused.
That must have been awkward.
This was a soap opera for sure. I mean, if people want to make fun of wrestling and call it a soap opera, I'll give it for this one.
It most definitely has its moments.
Yeah.
All right. Next, you had RVD, what you mentioned.
Oh, actually, I think up next is the Shield match, but I just kind of missed it. Wow, why the hell did I miss it? I guess I must have needed to use. Oh, no, I remember now. I needed to use the bathroom, but then I got distracted by my laptop, too, so I wanted to go on Facebook and talk about wrestling and stuff. All right.
You using the bathroom, getting a drink, what's next?
Yeah, right. All right, so, you know what, from now on, no more bathrooms. I'll shit my pants. And no more drinking. I'm just going to thirst, I don't care if I get,
That's a true wrestling fan right there.
That's right, dedicated. So, I'm obviously the Shield must have won. I don't know how, I couldn't even tell you. But then after that, RVD versus Darren Young, which was kind of interesting. Darren Young didn't really do much in that match except kind of get beat up, though. He did get a good few shots at RVD, but let's face it, this was just a short, simple jobbing match. But RVD had some great moves, though, in his arsenal for this one, like all these different kicks and all that. And I'm not talking like a regular kick. I'm talking like Darren Young would kind of hold him, and then RVD would counter it and somehow do like this crazy kick or whatever. Yeah, I don't know, man. The man is just really hypnotizing to watch in the ring. So, but yeah, RVD won. So that's that.
All right, and we had a little moment with the Miz with his random TV show where he had Paul Heyman on.
Yeah, you know what? This was just, surprisingly, this was kind of just filler. I mean, this was just the standard Paul Heyman talks. Miz just says, "You're despicable," and "How dare you showing your children?" You know, it's just so weird to see the Miz all faced up like this. Like, come on, man.
Yeah.
They have to be giving you some better lines than all this. So, you know.
Yeah, he always seemed to be much better as a heel to me.
Yeah, you know, this is a pass. I mean, I couldn't, stick with this. What's next? What else happened on SmackDown?
All right, we got Curtis Axel defeating Chris Jericho.
Ah, yeah. So this one was a surprising match, actually, because I didn't think they would be fighting. I let alone Chris Jericho being on SmackDown. But good match, actually, as always. But yeah, Chris Jericho got the. Curtis Axel got the win. Paul Heyman, of course, at his side like usual, and a regular good match. The real big pop was Jericho getting him on the walls of Jericho, and just him getting at it. I don't know what it is, but there's just something about what Jericho puts someone on the walls of Jericho, and that submission hold. And everyone just gets in their feet because it's always so intense to watch because it can always end in several different ways. They can either tap out, flip over, crawl to the ring thing and grab onto the ring, or they could do that, but Chris Jericho could just walk back to the center of the ring, which is always my favorite.
Yeah.
But then, of course, after that was over, what was next after that? I believe it was the main event, right?
Well, we're missing one little important thing.
Oh, crap.
Cody Rhodes.
Oh, how did I forget that?
Yeah, face.
Yeah, that one was really good. Damien Sandow came out dressed up in a suit, right? And he calls out Cody Rhodes, gets him out in the ring, and he says, "Cody Rhodes, look, I forgive you."
Oh, that's great.
And I couldn't tell, and I didn't know, and I tried to make sense of why Damien Sandow would forgive Rhodes, but then I realized it's wrestling; it doesn't make sense. As Dean Ambrose had said, it's stupid. Don't take it seriously. So, Sandow, on the mic and everything, and then he says, "Now look, I may have taken the Money in the Bank briefcase, but I will offer you a really excellent position, which is to be the protector of the Money in the Bank briefcase. You'll be carrying this, you'll be protecting it," and he offers Cody Rhodes a job, which I thought was pretty sensible. I mean, why not? Cody Rhodes, after losing Money in the Bank, he could use a job like that. But I guess Cody Rhodes just didn't accept that offer, so he bashed Damien Sandow really hard, right there, jaw in the face. And then that's when the audience gave Cody Rhodes the pop, and, I guess there you have it, Cody Rhodes' face, I guess. So hopefully maybe this Monday at Raw he can go up against the heel, maybe win, and probably propel himself to victory against Sandow, assuming they do the whole Money in the Bank match for SummerSlam.
Yeah, he's that's another one of the reasons why I thought Cody was going to take it, because he really, he's put all this hard work in. He really, obviously he got himself over with the fans without even trying, you know, and he's done so much. I mean, you got to wonder if there's any sort of big time push coming within the next couple of months or so.
I definitely see the World Heavyweight Championship belt wrapped around him, but as far as what happens with Ziggler, Del Rio, all those other people, don't know. Unless Damien Sandow somehow cashes in and he becomes the World Heavyweight Championship title shot. Who knows?
Yeah, that's a great thing about Money in the Bank, is they pretty much can go just about anywhere. And
Yep.
All right, and then we're going on to the main event, which was that's kind of surprising. Alberto Del Rio, obviously the World Heavyweight Champion, losing to Orton.
Yes.
I don't get that.
Yeah, I don't know. I kind of didn't really expect it. I thought, but hey, I mean, it happened. Randy Orton won, and now I did look away at the very, very last kind of 30 seconds just as the match was ending, so I don't know how the hell it ended. It was just one of those points where I kind of had my head turned because I usually have the laptop on me, so... But, I mean, Randy Orton took the victory, and, I don't know, and I think it's just to sort of, I guess, maybe propel Randy Orton for his... I guess this is just to recover from his, well, no, I mean, what's there to really recover from him, right? Because, he's been doing good so far.
Well, yeah, I mean, he had a little bit of a random rough patch by losing to Daniel Bryan.
Oh, yeah, right.
By outside interference to Kane, but, I mean, I don't know. I mean, if you're going to really put him over, I mean, why are you putting him over against the guy who's the World Heavyweight Champion, a guy who's supposed to be, winning his matches, regardless of how he does it, he should be winning. He's really, it's the same thing they did, like, the last time he was a heel and he was champion.
Yeah.
They always made him look weak with the belt.
Yeah, I don't know where they're going with this either, and I hope WWE doesn't play this in a way where it's like no matter who has the belt, they should just use either way in non-title matches. So,
yeah,
I mean they did it with Wade Barrett, and look what happened to him. And he didn't. It's like Triple H got the shovel, whacked him across the head with it, and said, "Stay down."
Pretty much, it's. I mean, I don't know. It's like, because it was mentioned in the group as one of the questions about, since not many people care about Del Rio as champion, and they're not really on him at all.
No, Ricardo Rodriguez, on the other hand, people are over for, but not Del Rio.
Yeah, but, Ricardo, who, I'm not exactly sure what sort of banned substance, he got whatever for, but
yeah.
Ricardo Rodriguez was basically the main reason why he really got any sort of support.
Yeah. Alberto! Yeah.
So, I mean, it's... I don't know. I mean, you have a World Heavyweight Champion. You should build him as a World Heavyweight Champion, even if he is a heel. I mean,
exactly.
They have this weird stigma in wrestling now that if you're a heel, that you're the champion, it's like you're not allowed to win cleanly, you're not allowed to cheat anymore because they're going to be, hey, he cheated, restart the match. It's like, what's the point?
Yeah, I know. Oh, you know what? I didn't tell you how Curtis Axel won, actually. Heyman distracted Jericho, and Curtis got him with a roll-up pin, just like the way Fandango did to Jericho at WrestleMania.
Oh, all right. Well, yeah, that makes sense. I mean, Curtis Axel is really anywhere near, where he should be to defeat him cleanly, so that really makes sense.
Yeah, it did. And you know what? This just goes to show that even SmackDown is actually not as bad either. I mean, I don't know why I guess it's just Friday night after work or whatever, you don't really prepare yourself to watch wrestling every day of the week, but today I just had the fortune of watching SmackDown, and it was really good too. I kind of wish that they held the Sandow promo till Raw just to see more Cody Sandow action, but maybe it's for the best. I mean, SmackDown audience also deserves a good show too, so.
Yeah.
People pay for their tickets too. I mean, and it's interesting because I guess I didn't really realize that how there's like a real big difference between a TV audience and a live audience. I mean, you have to satisfy both crowds somehow too. So,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And also what I did was I put in the group to get it out there to get more of them involved in this. And I asked them if they had any sort of questions, comments, or whatever regarding wrestling this week or just in general, just to, put in the comment section.
Yep.
And we had a few responses. There's a few repeats. Let's see. The Punk Heyman storyline we talked about.
Yeah, like how, I thought it was like it's the contemporary Stone Cold versus Vince McMahon. Maybe not in the elaborate way in terms of going to the hospital and kicking his ass or blowing up his car or anything like that, but it's certainly a damn good feud because at least this one has more emotion to it, whereas the Stone Cold one was just more about the shock value of it.
Yeah, and the next one was from Shaun Spex. He said, if Dean Ambrose would have gone from CZW to TNA, do you think he would still be known as Jon Moxley? Would TNA give him a random name, or how in general do you think he would be used?
Right. Well, first of all, he cheated because he used 3 questions. I'm kidding. No, that's great. If Dean Ambrose went to TNA, would he still be Jon Moxley? I think they would be having him delivering promos, no doubt, because he's a great talker, and TNA likes their talkers. They give more time to the talkers. That's why you see Chris Daniels deliver more promos. That's why you see Austin Aries deliver more promos as well. Bully Ray gets a lot of screen time for his promos too. But but the one thing TNA has trouble with are oh God. All right, well, I'll just say this. It would be hard to imagine Dean or John, whatever the hell you want his name to be, without his armor gear, just like the way we're all used to. But with TNA, though, that has been going the past year, I'd say they would have to make Ambrose they would probably have made him into a part-time jobber before they really use him. They would make him a jobber, but they would make him a good talker. You see what I mean? This is TNA logic that's been going on for the past year. But maybe now, the way that it has been last Thursday, or maybe even a few years ago, it'd probably be a different story. But I think what they would probably have done is not give John Good or Jon Moxley his name. They would probably use his real name, which is John Good, instead of the Moxley name. Yeah. I don't know.
All right, and let's see here. The next one. We already talked quite a bit about Destination X. This was from All Out Rock Hooligan who wanted us to talk about it, but we definitely
we beat it over its head. It was awesome, and it was a damn good ending, and it was just really awesome.
And all hail Saban.
Oh yeah.
And let's see. We have another one from Mr. Hooligan. We have, do you think Dolph Ziggler is going to stay in the main event scene, and will Sandow lose the briefcase to Cody Rhodes after a feud, or is he going to get a main event push?
Okay, with Dolph Ziggler, most likely be in reservation hell until he gets another title run. But after SummerSlam, huge following, no doubt. Barclays Center, I mean, they sold his shirts too, exclusively with Cena, Sheamus, Miz, CM Punk, and The Shield. Dolph is money, no doubt. At Izod Center, nothing but blue shirts, but I think they're going to just try to wrap up a story with Big E and AJ for SummerSlam. I mean, remember, he always won dirty. Not everything was clean. So they're going to build him up to be this David versus Goliath kind of concept with him. But then now you have Cody Rhodes and you have Sandow, so it should be obvious they're getting the SummerSlam push as well for them to have the match too. But as far as main event scenes, it really depends on what they do with the briefcases. Does the red briefcase get the championship belt, or does the blue briefcase get the championship belt, though? I mean, you know, it means we're going to have 2 heroes really fight for the World Heavyweight Championship. If you think about it, Ziggler and Rhodes. Too many possibilities. Or can they move Ziggler to the WWE title shot, assuming Orton goes heel with his briefcase against Cena or Daniel Bryan? I predicted that whoever wins the blue briefcase will not win the World Heavyweight Championship, but who the hell knows now, because I did not know that Sandow would win.
Yeah, like I said, it was a bit of a shocker, but, you know, then again, you know, no one was really sure who was going to take that. But to be honest, in my opinion, I don't see Sandow losing it. They obviously put it on him for a reason, whether it's just to elevate him and or Cody Rhodes. I mean, they're not just going to pull it off of him. I mean, it's only happened one other time when I think when it was when Mr. Anderson was Mr. Kennedy. You know, he lost his briefcase to Edge randomly. because I guess he fell out of favor with the company or whatever the case was. But I just don't see that happening.
Yeah.
But I could see maybe later down the line, if and when Sandow cashes the briefcase, maybe if Cody is either the person he cashes it in on or the person who he faces next.
Yep.
So, and next, we spoke a little bit about this. This is from Anna. She wanted to know what they think that they were doing with The Miz.
Oh, God. I guess, mid-card?
Yeah, it really seems that way. It's like I said, it's one of those guys where they're not really sure where they're going with him. He's got his show. He's on Main Event, but
he main evented on a pay-per-view before, and here he is being the pre-show of WrestleMania, and then just gets a random title swerve also on Monday Night Raw the next day at IZOD. I mean, what happened?
I don't know, but as soon as he turned face, it's like, I mean, I believe, didn't he had an Intercontinental title not too long back, right?
Yeah, that was the title swerve from WrestleMania. He had the Intercontinental belt and fighting Wade Barrett with it, and I guess there was like a 24-hour title switch, and that was it. Raw, everything was back to normal, and then he lost it out to Curtis Axel.
Yeah, I don't know. He's kind of out in the middle of nowhere. I mean, I just don't buy him as a good guy. I just don't.
What also pisses me off is that he's got that figure 4 move as his main finisher, which I don't really like. And it's not because he can't really do it correctly or whatever. I just don't see him doing the figure 4. And here's why, because every time he does it, it's his face that bothers me. It looks like he's trying to have sex with the other wrestler because he has his face rocked back and forth, and it's just really distracting. All right, let's move on. I can't.
So, no more The Miz talk with the sex and all that?
Unless Anna likes to. I mean, maybe she likes The Miz, but I don't know. I don't want to...
Yeah, like I said, I don't really buy him as a face. I mean, even because Ric Flair gave him the permission to even use the move, like he was getting like this huge rub from him, and this is still where he is. Like the fans aren't behind
I don't even
him.
think people remember that anymore.
Yeah, it's the fans don't really seem to be behind him all that much. I mean, I'm sure there are Miz fans out there, but there's not a whole lot of them to really justify any sort of a push at this point.
Yeah.
All right, we had 2 other ones. Another one from Rock Hooligan who wanted to know who should win the ROH World Title and why.
Yeah, with Ring of Honor, honestly, I don't follow it that closely, so I don't know. All I know is that Kevin Steen is like everyone's favorite guy for that Ring of Honor. What I can say is that in a few weeks, though, or next month rather, I am actually going to attend the Ring of Honor show, and I can finally get an idea of what it's going to be all about and everything. But honestly, who should win? I have no idea. But a lot of people are behind Steen, and I've actually seen one of his matches on YouTube. I like the YouTube wrestlers who everyone's actually talking about, and Kevin Steen is the most talked about from Ring of Honor.
Yeah, but they have basically what they're doing is they're having like this big tournament, and a whole bunch of guys are in it. Yeah, like I said, Steen. You said Steen is in the tournament. They have Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt is randomly in that tournament, even though
shit, really?
he's yeah. To be honest, I really see them putting it on a new guy. I mean, the obvious choices would either be Steen or Lethal. Oh God, or they could put it back on Roderick Strong. That's kind of a toss-up to me because there's just so many different wrestlers in that tournament. It's just so hard to tell where exactly they're going to go with it.
Yeah, and I wish I can give Mr. Hooligan here the really good answer, but unfortunately, alas, I do not. I do not have the answers you seek. I am not intelligent.
And this last one, I guess we already talked about it a bit, was from, I hope I'm pronouncing it right, it's Pavan, I think.
I believe it's Pavan.
I apologize. Pavan, I apologize. Who talked about that no one really cares about Del Rio, and he's getting championship after championship, and why, and shouldn't WWE try to get him a crowd reaction first?
Yeah, the thing with Del Rio is that I can't tell. Was he getting enough cheers even then, like during like when he was faced before like the whole heel thing?
Well, it was more because remember that they kind of piggybacked off of Daniel Bryan's thing by chanting "C" over and over.
Yeah, and you know what I think it was though? He had a huge face pop when he defeated the Big Show in that SmackDown match when he got the World Heavyweight Championship early this year, and that was a damn good match, and that was really good. And I was actually rooting for Del Rio, but then I don't know. I guess he's. I just don't see myself being in his corner. I love Ricardo Rodriguez on the other hand, and he's also a wrestler too. He fights as El Local on. He actually did Saturday Morning Slam before too. But yeah, I mean, the whole audience, and honestly, even when he was getting all those cheers, who knows if those were really cheers or not? Because, like I said, Cena was getting booed majorly last Monday, and yet somehow on TV you're hearing these cheers. And it's like, where do they come from?
Yeah, and to me, it kind of seems like they more... Ricardo was a lot more over than Alberto was, in my opinion, and that's kind of where I think most of the cheers was coming from. I mean, you're going to have all of the kids or whatever who, see the baby face and like, oh, we're going to cheer for them. You have those and the fans of Ricardo... I don't know. I mean, should they get a crowd reaction? Of course, whether he gets booed or cheered, I mean, of course they should try to do that, or else no one's really going to care when he wrestles. I mean, and it even goes back to the fact that he lost to Orton. He's the World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah.
Why the hell is he losing to Orton? I mean, I get Orton's Orton, but I don't think Orton's should be bigger than the World Heavyweight Champion.
Yeah, and that's a good point, though, because it even makes the belt look... And you know what else, too? They even had him standing in line with the other people, too, last Monday, which I thought further sort of puts a little bit of a negative stain on the World Heavyweight Championship belt to stand there with the rest of the roster as if the belt isn't prestigious enough already to be selected for the WWE Championship. I mean, he wasn't going to be selected regardless anyway. I don't know why they put him out there. I don't think he should have been. It just made the belt look a little weaker.
I mean, I don't know. I mean, obviously, they should, have them be much more stronger than they actually is, but that would require being creative with him.
Yeah. Yep.
And
it's the same thing with Sheamus. I mean, look at him. The only way to really recover Sheamus is if you make him into a beer-drinking heel and be more like a Stone Cold Irishman kind of a person. But now he's a face, and I don't get that whole 1-800-fellow gimmick. It's so horrible.
Yeah, and he's another one, because I never really liked him as a face either, because I just watch his promos, and there's so many times where he'll just piggyback off of what the other person said.
Yeah.
And it's like, blah, 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 bro kick. Okay, done. That's what seems to be all of his promos are like. And
Not to mention, it looks like he's the bully because he's the one that actually starts fights with the other people as a face. I don't get it.
Yeah, but remember, don't be a bully, be a star.
Oh, that's right, you're right.
All right, anyway, that does it as far as the comments go. I don't think there's really anything else to be said, do you?
No, I don't think so, and I think that's where we're going to leave it off, right?
Yeah, we're just about done.
You remember now, this is Intelligent Wrestling Talk, the IWT, where we bring you the 3 I's, the intensity, integrity, and intelligence of all things wrestling.
That was beautiful.
No.
All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in this week, and be sure to subscribe here. And remember, there's only one way to talk wrestling.
Intelligently.
Yeah.
We're going to work on that.
I knew something was going to happen.
Maybe it's an audio delay. Maybe we did talk at the same time, right?
I hope so. I guess I'll have to listen back to it and see what happens.
Oh, we'll try it again. All right. I'm ready.
And remember, there's only one way to talk wrestling.
Intelligently.